Hey, welcome back YouTubers. As promised, I am back with my Watchmen figure reviews. I am truly sorry that these figure reviews are coming out so late, realizing that they came out in March with the movie, but I didn't want to do the figure reviews until I had all the figures that I was going to go out for, and it took me a while to track some of them down. Now, before I get into the nuts and bolts of these reviews, aka the figures, I want to talk a little bit about the packaging, because one of my beliefs is that packaging goes a long way in enticing someone if you're going to buy something, and in that regard, DC Direct gets full marks. Because if you look at this packaging, it is beautiful. They went out of their way to connected to the comic. Look with the art, with the box art and the font. And if you look at the side panels, it displays the figure beautifully in a full color picture. And on the back, it's just, like I said, it's very, very beautifully done packaging. They display all the figures that are available in both sets, and here in the corner they even list the sculptors of the individual figures, which adds a nice touch in case you follow, specific sculptors and want to go after their products. Another aspect of the packaging, which is pretty cool, is that the insides of the box feature the "Who Watches the Watchmen" graffiti, which is shown in the movie on several occasions. It's a nice little addition there. Now, moving on from that, I want to move into the figure reviews. My first figure that I'm going to be reviewing is Rorschach. Rorschach is my favorite character from the Watchmen series, and as such, he was the first figure that I picked up. And I do like this figure. I do. It's beautifully done, just like the packaging. There is an attention to detail here that is unparalleled. DC Direct is very good with that. Usually. I'll get to that point later. But, if you guys look at this, get a close-up on his face, it's kind of hard to see with this camera, but the Rorschach design is perfectly symmetrical. The hat is perfectly detailed with the ribbon on the side, and the trench coat, it looks exactly like movie stills of this character. And I love this little detail right here, how the belt is actually loose plastic rather than molded to it. That was a nice little touch. And like I said, the paint job is perfect. The trench coat is done with kind of like a faded look to it. He has the purple and purple and light purple pinstripe pants, his boots that you see him wearing in the movie. And like I said, it's a flawless figure in that regard. It is perfectly detailed. But where this guy falls down is articulation. He basically has none. He has a standard cut joint on most of his body parts. His head turns very little. And same with his arms. His arms will rotate a full 360, but there's really no point to it because they look kind of awkward up like that. His wrist, again, simple cut joint, but that's okay because for wrists, that you really don't need much more motion than this. But what's really, really upsetting is his legs. He doesn't even have full legs. This figure cuts the leg off around mid-thigh, and it just goes like this. It's very pointless articulation, and it does nothing for the figure except make him incapable of standing without his base. So it loses major points for that part. He you know, his head's also sculpted a little to the side, so he's got kind of a pensive look there, which is good for the character, but it's horrible for this figure because it makes it so you can only have him in one position. One position that looks good. Any other position, and he starts looking goofy as hell. It's ridiculous, especially for such an important character in the series. And that's why I'm a little disappointed with him. I do like the figure because, like I said, it's very beautifully detailed, but the articulation it upsets me a little bit. And now moving along to accessories, this guy comes with his grappling hook, his gas-powered grappling gun, pardon me, that Night Owl makes for him in the comics, and an alternate hand to carry it, because if you notice, in both of his hands are sculpted in fists. And I would take his hand off and shove it in there. Well, actually I will. You can take his right hand off and shove the one that can hold the gun together, and that actually looks kind of cool, making for a little bit of dynamic posing with the gun. So I like to display him with it, but like I said, you can't really do much posing wise. The gun is very detailed. It matches movie stills quite flawlessly. There's even little Rorschach designs on the handle, and that pretty much wraps Rorschach up. Oh, pardon me, before I close off, all the figures also come with this kind of a scaffolding base. It's not too terrible, but it's not the best. But like I said, without it, some of them can't stand, and even with it, some of them have a hard time managing it. I think there's anything else I want to say about him. Because of his lack of articulation, or lack of good articulation, balancing that out with his, his beautiful detail, I'm gonna have to give this figure an 8 out of 10. And I will explain in later videos why I'm rating him so high. Yes, I know I griped a little bit about certain things, but I still think he deserves an 8 out of 10, because as far as bad figures, he is not the worst. His detail saves him a lot. Alright, and that'll be it for now. I will see you again with another video shortly. Alright, thanks for watching.